Hello, my absolutely beautiful Taurus friends, and welcome to your horoscope for August of 2023, where Taurus this month, we have to get into it right away because it is a busy emotional month and information is changing directions, but it's not like, oh, this is coming out of nowhere. It's like there's this emotional illumination that is happening for you this month where you're like, I knew it. I knew this was coming. I could feel something was coming. And now there's this unfolding and transition and culmination that I think August has to offer. And a big part of that is because we have 3 moons happening this month. We've got 2 full moons and a new moon. Not to mention we've also got Mercury going retrograde, Uranus stepping into retrograde. And then of course your ruling planet Venus is already in retrograde. So it's just very illuminating. Things from the past, I think, have their unfolding this month in that way where you go, yes, I knew it. So lots going on this month. Let's jump in and start to talk it through. Right at the beginning of the month on the 1st, we have got a full moon happening in this beautiful Aquarian energy. Now, keeping in mind also that Uranus has also been traveling through the energy of Taurus. Now, Uranus being one of the ruling planets, of course, of Aquarius, you've been feeling a lot of this vibration of freedom. I need to do this in order to be free. This makes me feel free. This is the direction I really want to go. So I feel like a lot of the decisions that you've been making and have been on your table have really been about what do I find value in today, and how do I help to create freedom with that value? You know, it's a really lovely kind of energy, but certainly, you know, the Taurus placements in your chart, even if you're not a Taurus sun, they have been shaken, not stirred, right? It is likely not something that has just been subtle. It was like, oh, you know, I've just been thinking about a new hairstyle. You're like, I'm leaving this job, this country. You know, it could very much so be like that. So here at this 9 degrees of Aquarius full moon, something is being asked to end, acknowledge, or to be adjusted. And this is in your 10th house, okay? So tip top of the chart, very, very, very public. Now, one of the things that I love about a moon for you in the top of your chart is that it illuminates and brightens and unfolds you. You can be seen at this time, whether or not you are a content creator like I am, or you're doing anything particularly special. There's something about you where the spotlight is really on you. So you are seen, you are heard, you do have the public eye in some way. So this is an absolutely wonderful time for you to use this awakening of energy to say, okay, how can I, being so visible as I am, use this next 4 weeks to make an impact in my world? Now, whether that's, you know, a job opportunity or something with your career that comes around and you're like, yes, I am ready and willing to step into the light, you know, step into the spotlight with this particular energy, or yes, I am willing to step up and take this on as a responsibility and an obligation, you know, whatever that is, this is a time for you to show your capacity, show your mastery, show your skill, and demonstrate it. And just remember that the public eye is on you. Now, this particular moon is also square to Jupiter. So it's really, it's a lot. That's a lot of big energy. And, you know, we are still at this particular point in Leo season. So who could do without a little bit of big cat energy? You know what I'm saying? And Jupiter is in your sign. So the expansion, Taurus, that is available here, and really truly your ability to use your physical presence, your beauty, your ruled by Venus magnetism to really make a big impact is available here. Okay, so I just want you to keep that in mind. Now, I also like to point out that when we're talking about 10th house, let's say that you don't have a job, or you are unemployed, you are retired, you are whatever, right? You don't go to the office every day, you don't own your own company, whatever that looks like for you. When we are talking about the 10th house, because it's so public as well, it can just be about how you show up and nurture and expand your reputation. So think about it in this way as well. So let's say You are retired, you've been retired for years. You're like, Stormie, I'm done with all that. Okay. But when you go out into the community, into your world, what we know you as is, oh, this is the lady or person who has the book thing in her front yard, right? And when I walk by here every day, I grab a new book and leave a book, right? Have you guys seen those things? So how can you spruce that up just a little bit? How can you help that bookshelf, that experience, that piece of your reputation really shine and have an impact on someone? And when I say that, one of the things that comes so solidly to mind for me is that in any given moment and in any given day, you may be the one and only opportunity for someone to have a fresh breath, a breath of kindness, and an experience with love that they ever have. So this month you've got it on you. How can you expand that out? Okay, when we get to August 3rd, we're going to see Mercury enter into the pre-retrograde shadow time at 8 degrees of Virgo. So this is our indicator at 8 degrees of Virgo in your chart, which in the general is going to be lighting up, and we're going to be doing all of this kind of review in your 5th house, okay? So I want you watching your chart at 8 degrees of Virgo to start to see what messages are coming in for review, where you're maybe rethinking, reunioning, replanning, reviewing, you're reconsidering in some way information, decisions that have been on your table, okay? Start watching it right here on the 3rd as Mercury goes ahead and starts to slow down for the retrograde that will come later in the month. Now on the 16th, we move into this new moon happening in the energy of Leo. Now this is going to light up your 4th house space, okay? So in that 4th house, just opposite that 10th house energy that we were experiencing before, right? We're going to have the 4th house. So this is home. So instead of being at the tip top of the chart, and we see it very publicly, this is in the depth of the chart. This is in the heat of your domestic situation, your personal relationships, and also inside of you, right? What is going on for you psychologically, your internal psychological and emotional foundations. So locate 23 degrees of Leo in your particular chart. And remember, this is your opportunity to plant your seeds of intention to begin something new here. So this could be a time where, first of all, family, home, family, real estate, properties, your own growth internally, things having to do with your lineage or your ancestors, your parents. These are the things that are going to be coming into focus. So this is a time where when you're planting your seeds of intention, it's about safety. Where do you feel safe? Where do you feel nurtured? Where do you feel secure and supported? Anything that you need to see, because this is lunar information about your roots, right? Where do I live? Where do I want to live? Where do my roots come from? Where's the history of my family from? Whatever it is, this is a time where you will be reviewing that. And I do happen to believe, especially if you do it before the 23rd when Mercury goes retrograde, I think that this is a great time for making some long-term or long-range plans and changes for your future, something that you want in that way. Now let's say that you can't find that apartment, you can't find that house, you can't get those plane tickets just yet, and you need to do it after the 23rd. I think that that's okay. What I would suggest to you is at this new moon, look around. If you want to go on that trip, you want to take that class, you want to whatever, begin your research of it and then go back to it during the Mercury retrograde and revisit it, reorganize, reconsider some things around it, because the information that is presented to you, you may find that you actually have more support by reviewing it during the retrograde. So just 2 ways to think about that before Mercury takes that retrograde, okay? On the 23rd, busy day, we've got the sun moving into the energy of Virgo, lighting us up in your 5th house and in that Virgo vibration until September 23rd. So now we move from that high fire of Leo energy into this Virgo vibration where we're gonna, first of all, you have a similarity, right? You're both earth energies, but you do earth very differently. You're fixed and Virgo is mutable. So in this season, and you get this season every year, go back to your chart, go back to your life into last year, Taurus, what was going on for you during Virgo season, because you want to take a look around and see where you need to Virgo. You need to be discerning. You need to look at all of the details of the 5th house area of your life, which includes joy, pleasure, play, loving what you do and having that I do this the best that I can. I serve the best that I can. Energy coming through you. Now, also, this may be a lot of details and things coming up around your children. The 5th house definitely has to do with children. And for many people, it's getting ready to be back to school time. So you could be buying the book bags, you're going through the things, meeting the teachers, all the details, who's got carpool, the details get going really quickly when you have these small humans, right? So whatever you do here, though, during your Virgo season is, first of all, take time to get into the details of your daily life so that you can be organized and informed on how you're moving here. And when I tell you to be organized and informed about joy and pleasure and play and taking a risk in your life, one of the ways that I suggest that you do this is to spend time with what makes you laugh, right? Virgo is immutable energy, so it transitions us from one thing to the next. So if you used to absolutely love fill in the blank, swimming, okay, let's just say you used to love swimming, it used to just light you on fire, and you had such pride in how you did swimming, and you simply do not love it, or you haven't been showing up as the very best that you can in that, give yourself some space and some time during Virgo season to transition out and find something else that you love. Investigate it. Get curious about you, my beautiful Taurus friends, okay? Now, on the same day, ruling planet of Virgo, and of course Gemini as well, but ruling planet of Virgo, Mercury is turning retrograde at 21 degrees of Virgo. So this is also happening in the 5th house. Now, all the way through the full cycle, we will see Mercury leave its post-retrograde shadow time in September 30th, where it gets back to the 21 degrees, okay? But we'll see and start seeing the internet talk about how Mercury's coming direct on September 15th at 8 degrees of Virgo, but I'm committed to the whole cycle, so we need to get to September 30th, okay? But as Mercury is retrograde here, you have time to rely on the ability to review, to rework an old idea, to rethink, to reinvent yourself here, to mentally ask yourself, okay, does this make me feel good? Do I enjoy this? Do I feel like this has a mental deliciousness to it that makes me feel alive? Does this help my children do what they need to do? Does this help me have clarity, which is kindness in the conversations and contracts that I'm signing? Now, during Mercury retrograde, couple, just standard order of business type of things we'd suggest that you don't sign new contracts, you don't make really big plans, because sometimes the thinking it's blurry a little bit. It seems like, oh, okay, I've got all of the information I need, this is the thing, and it's not really as clear as you would think it would be, okay? There's lots of delays that show up. The electrical equipment tends to go haywire because Mercury is a personal planet and works in the vibration of a lot of electricity. So I always ask you to give yourself and others a lot of grace when Mercury is retrograde, because it is the planet of our minds. So we're all walking forward, but our minds are flipped backwards. So it's a perfect opportunity to bonk into someone else. So have a lot of grace, okay? Now, if you have Mercury retrograde in your natal chart, if you have Mercury retrograde in your solar return, if you have Mercury retrograde by progression going on, if you are interacting with Mercury retrograde energy, this Mercury retrograde cycle, instead of calling you in, is actually a time where it's calling you out. So for you, come on out here. let's look at those decisions. You've been thinking about them for a really long time. Now play them out in the material world. Do something with them. Do you need to finish filling your orders? Do you need to buy something? Do you need to sell something? Do you need to actually take action and have the conversation or make the decision? Because for you, we're all running inside to review our thinking and our decisions. And for you, you've thought about it way too much. And now it's time to bring it out, okay? Let me know in the comment section down below if you are interacting with Mercury retrograde in one of your charts. All right, when we get to the 27th, we are going to see Mars enter into the energy of Libra all the way until October 12th. Okay, when Mars, our action, energy, desire, how I get things done planet, moves into the energy of Libra, first of all, it is in one of the signs that it opposes. So this always gets interesting, right? Mars is not particularly comfortable here. And you have to think with Mars energy, Mars wants to go forward at one thing directly, fiery, let me at 'em, I'm going to get it. Okay? It's a very direct kind of energy. In Libra, Mars can't act like that, and the planets are at the whim of the sign. Okay, they have to get down how the signs get down. So Libra is a double energy because it's air. So it's happy to go in more than one direction. So when Mars gets into Libra, it can be a bit frustrated, first of all. So one of the first things you can experience is a bit of inflammation, right? Because you're like, whew, hold on. I see too many things that I could do. I see too many sides of the story. I've got too many perspectives. Also, it can get busy. You can attract multiple things to do to you. And so it can feel a little bit overwhelming. One of the things I just want to remind you of is the benefits in Mars in Libra. First of which is that Mars does want to, in Libra, find a solution. So the way that Mars acts and the way that it does, right? Remember, we're looking for verbs here, is it can listen to both / or all sides. Just listen. Take in the information, write down what you found out, and then find a balanced, justice-driven solution. That way, you're not going too far this way or you're going too far that way. Instead, make a strategy, make time for planning with Mars in Libra, and understand that the ability to want to have full out anger and full out aggression may not be what you've got going on. But when people or yourself are doing things in ways that are more passive aggressive instead of being completely direct, it can be annoying. But also, I just want you to acknowledge that that is the nature of Mars in an air sign, is the indirect approach may be your saving grace to listening, hearing, and gathering what you need to pick a strategy that lets you be successful, okay? I have Mars in Libra, so I tell you what, when I do things, I want everybody to win. And sometimes that's not it, right? Okay, on the 28th, we have got Uranus turning retrograde in the energy of Taurus at 23 degrees of Taurus. So the 0 to 23 degrees Taurus folks, you know, you're good. You're good. I love you. You've been shaken, not stirred. Lots of changes have come up. Lots and lots of changes have come up. Now, in this particular retrograde cycle, we are going to see Uranus moving from 19 degrees to 23, or I guess I should say from 23 to 19 and then back. So if you've got Uranus or Taurus placements in that, if you've got Taurus placements or points at that particular degree points, I want you watching what's going on in your chart, okay? Now, as Uranus goes retrograde, one of the things we're doing is we're flipping back in, especially on concepts, ideas, actions, decisions we have made, not only personally, but as a society as well, back in May of this year, 2023. Decisions that we have made that really, really change our lives. They break us out of the bubble. They create a freedom. We're living more innovatively. We're a bit more spontaneous. Maybe we're attracting, really different people to us. Maybe, Taurus, you've gotten a completely different look or a completely different location that you live in. Something about you maybe has had more of this like rebellious energy to it where you're like, no, I don't want to do it that way. And it's not the ignorant, stubborn rebellion, hopefully, right? Where you're just like refusing to grow up and won't do it. It's more of that is not what is best for me, and today I know it, and I'm willing to take action that shifts that uses this Uranian energy to break the tension by going to see what else is out there. I absolutely love this phrase that I've been living my life by for the last couple years, which is go where you're treated best. And that requires some investigation. And I think that Uranus in Taurus has done that for you. It's made you question, am I free here? Is this where I'm treated best? Okay, so enjoy the exploration as Uranus is traveling in retrograde fashion all the way until January, but then we leave the full zone again in May. As we close out this month, my beautiful Taurus friends, on the 30th, we have got another full moon at 7 degrees of Pisces. Okay, again, the full moon is asking us to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment. We need to see something. Something is being illuminated. And this particular moon is also in conjunction with Saturn. Okay, so there is something at this particular moon that I think is not only delicious and useful for being grounded in the information that is coming to us, but because Pisces energy is water, and water and earth get along swimmingly. So there is a nice aspect of ease just in general to what is going on between you and your lunar life. Okay, so one of the things to think of is, first of all, this is in your 11th house. Okay, so in this 11th house space, you're being asked to end, acknowledge, or adjust, bring your attention to what's been going on around your friends, your friend groups, your tribe, your social connections, including social media, including all things that connect you to your spiritual tribe, to your spiritual home, right? Where do you, in the 11th house, where are you finding yourself wanting to achieve something at a more public level and be known for it, right? The 11th house is, I want to be known here. I want to be validated for what I do, and I want to have a tribe that helps me do that. And in exchange, I will validate them as well, right? So it's kind of goes back and forth. So you're having a review of this very social area of your life, and true to Pisces energy, it's really about, first of all, which friends, friendships, hobbies, 11th house things need to dissolve, right? What needs to dissolve? Because quite seriously, it doesn't make sense to be connected to them anymore. It doesn't allow you to perform what you need to do. What challenges in the group, did you have a friend and you were having a challenge with them and it was like, that needs to dissolve? Maybe not the friendship, but a forgiveness, an easing, a surrendering into, healing and bringing forgiveness to that situation. Now, to the other side of this, I have found many, many times, and for many people, that when there is a moon, especially a full moon in the 11th house, you're good to go. You're living your best life, right? You're like, yeah, listen, I actually feel really connected. And a friend or an organization or something is calling for you to be helpful. Like you start showing up in the lives of someone else, and instead of showing up as, just the friend, you sometimes end up taking on a little bit more Saturn of a bigger role because someone actually needs your help. And it can feel with Saturn like, whoa, this is a little bit of pressure. Now, the pressure is about taking on a new responsibility, but also being clear about how you're doing it, right? Yes, I will help you move your apartment, but I'm not moving everything. I'm not paying for the car. I'm not doing those things. Those things are your responsibility, and I love you and I'll show up, but I'm not here to carry the whole weight of your experience, right? Does that make a little bit of sense? All right, it's going to be a month, Taurus. Please keep me posted on what is going on, how these things are actually manifesting. And of course, if you don't have a chart yet, please go to astro.com or come to me and order one so that you can get it and you can see very clearly where the degree points are marked on your chart so you can start to follow this. And I have got a ton of content, the free YouTube Academy, which actually teaches you astrology from the ground up, but other shorter videos, like I've got a new moon through the houses video. Come check that out so that you can get a little perspective and bring a little bit of this astro knowledge and consciousness under your belt, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, I love you. Have a gorgeous month, and I will see you in September.